Once you are self-aware, you must make a change. Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Debra Kasowski, and today we are hitting up a solo cast with myself and some more life lessons of life, leadership, and business that I'm going to share with you. Today, I wanted to share with you that, being busted, and I'm laughing to myself. You might have seen my social media post recently, just being busted by my friends, God bless them, and busted by even myself when someone said, we all have an act. And I was like, yeah, I wonder, when we're thinking about what is the act that we each all play. And, when we talk about quit the act is, what is the story that you're telling yourself that gets you to avoid doing what you must do? I know, I got you thinking. And it's interesting that I've caught myself in a story. And if you've watched the other recent podcast about how to stop feeling guilty, it kind of ties into that. Because with that story of believing that you are not enough, need things to be perfect, or you need people to like you, and all these different little clips of phrases that come down to the reason we stop ourselves from doing things. Some people will stop doing things for themselves to shine because the fear of outshining another person. That if they make a mistake or things don't turn out, or they feel like they've failed, that suddenly they're faulty. Why would someone want someone who falls from perfection? And I'm here to tell you, let's bust the myths. Let's bust those myths, because it is time for you to step into who you are. And the Millionaire Woman Show was started because many years ago, I ran a networking group, and it kind of grandfathered the name, the Millionaire Woman Show, from the Millionaire Woman Club. And it's about living rich from the inside out. So let's get that straight here, because I truly believe when you have the richness within, that when you do your love, there is ways that you can monetize and grow in your life, your business, and leadership. And it's using very similar principles throughout in how you grow. So let's pop back to the belief systems. So when we're talking about our mindsets and those stories that we hang on to. So I remember thinking, about these stories that, it was the external critics who may have said something, and I chose to internalize something that they said over my own opinion. And this is what I talked about in the last podcast. And, today I was sitting back and we're talking about quit the act. What is the act that we have that protects us? And underlying is the fear. And I'm like, there's a post. It's all about stop it. Stop telling yourself that you're not capable of doing these many things. So I caught myself when in that not enoughness of not living up to someone else's standards, but also telling myself I must not be good enough. So I need to infuse tons of courses, tons of conferences, tons of books. I quote different people. And then someone said, well, why aren't we just hearing from Debra? And I'm like, well, all of these people have this and that. And, and I'm like, well, yeah. And what I realize is I'm a 2-time TEDx speaker. I'm a 3 times author. And, those are somewhat titles, but not only for credibility's sake, that I have my own credibility, because I'm constantly going on to the next thing, is being able to celebrate my wins. But the biggest thing for me in hosting this podcast, why I love hosting this podcast, it's for all of you, because I want you to grow in your life, the way you lead, and the way you conduct a business so that you can profit. But I want you to build the character of who you are, to have that richness in loving who you are and how you're showing up in the world. Because as you go to serve others, you transform the world. But it all starts with you. And you heard the story, on every time you get on a plane, that you put the oxygen mask on yourself first. So when you get to know thyself and achieve that personal mastery, what happens is it ripples. It ripples into how you work with other people. And therefore, each person you work with is an opportunity to change the world. Because what happens is, as you're helping another person, think of them as having a network of at least 250 people in their circle. And the way they show up, how they conduct themselves, how they do their service, how they live out their purpose and mission, that is what helps transform the world. So it's kind of like you have these champions moving forward, carrying the torch and lighting the lights of other people so that they can grow, and then they will do the same. So when we start shining a light on our own strengths, recognizing our own wins, and stepping into who we are, we give people permission to do the same. We can also challenge them to see more in themselves than ever before. And when they start seeing that, they in turn can see in others and do the same, challenge and encourage. And it comes from this cohesiveness of wanting to serve each other. How can we lift each other up? And it comes from quit the act. What I would tell myself is, because there was that not enoughness underlying subconsciously, it would prevent me. I would actually avoid it. So if someone said, you know what, I don't think you're good at finances, I would let that prophecy become true, even though I would still be diligent at keeping track of numbers and I thought I was doing a good job. But I allowed that messaging saying, even as I was doing the task, it led to doubt and limiting belief of believing internally in myself that I was good at it. I could be doing all the actions, but if I don't believe that I'm accomplishing or reaching those goals, then I'm not going to believe it, right? So you need to believe it before you see it, but even more so, you need to feel it inside of you that you are deserving, you are worth the success that you see for yourself. And another thing to remember, when someone offers you feedback, that external critic, you want to be able to say, thanks, but no thanks, or that's interesting. You don't have to internalize another person's feedback when you are true to yourself and you align with who you are, what you believe your values are. And, you're not perfect. No one is. And the fact that you are putting in the effort to learn and grow in a certain area, you're still going to be ahead of the game if you want to consider it a race. Because for everyone that's behind you, they're going to look up to you. And there'll always be someone in front of you for you to look up to. So stay open. And instead of being in judgment, think about how you can support the person next to you. How can you help them grow? And in what ways, when you tell yourself, when you get caught up in your act, because here's the thing, I could say, yeah, I'm no good at it. So why would I put in the effort? Or no one believes that I'm good at it, so I'll avoid doing it and therefore not fulfill a calling. Now who suffers here? Me, one, for not believing enough in myself to follow through regardless. And the other one, I'm shortchanging myself on a calling that years down the road, when I'm 80, 90 years old, I don't want to look back with regret and say, you know what, you held yourself back. Do you want to be telling yourself that you held yourself back because you believed in one person, or you keep telling yourself, these people told me this? And I guarantee you, when you dissect who those people are and write them out, handful of 3 max. Remember how many people are in the world? 7 billion. And what is that percentage that you're giving 100% to in their opinions versus that there's other people for you to serve, other people to fulfill your mission and your calling? So be careful how you get hung up on the people who might have said something to you, because those messages can run deep only if we allow them to, and only if we give meaning to those stories. So what's the meaning you want to have for your life? What do you want to believe? Because I know this is a phrase you've heard me say before. Once you are self-aware, there is no turning back. And I'm here to tell you, there is no turning back. Now that you recognize that it's time for a shift, it's time to change, it's time to stop believing in things that do not serve you. Because you know what? The world's waiting for you to share that message. Your mission, your product, your service. It's waiting for you just to show up and be you. You don't need to be anyone else because your uniqueness is for you. And no one else has the same imprint, experiences, listens to the same podcasts, books, has all the knowledge that you do. And, it might feel like I'm going on a tangent. Maybe I am, because I am here to ensure that you're sharing your gifts. And I am here to ensure that I'm sharing mine. And together, we're going to light up the world and do some epic things. And I'm really excited about that. But we got to stop it. Stop telling ourselves the stories that are going to hold us back. Help us. They're going to, you're going to avoid doing what you know you need to do because you internalize a story and you got stuck in a fixed mindset versus asking yourself, what's possible for me? What's possible for me? And then you surround yourself by people who really believe in you, the ones who are like, see your gifts, and they're going to make sure that you fulfill them. They're going to make sure you follow through. They're going to make sure that as they help you, you will turn to them and say, you know what? I'm not letting you do that anymore. I want you to be successful. I want you to reap the rewards and knowing that what you're doing in your calling, your life, your purpose, your passion is making a difference in the world. The ideas that you get are not given to everyone. Yet, if you choose not to fulfill the mission will be assigned to someone else. And that's why you look over and you're like, why is that person doing it? I was working on that. Well, if you sit on it too long, what needs to be fulfilled gets passed on. So follow through, trust yourself, and really know that you're making a difference, because no longer will you choose to believe the beliefs you've been holding that are holding you back. They're holding you hostage, and they're giving you a ticket to ride in the fact that you're avoiding what you need to do. And you're thinking it's okay. Well, I'm no good at this, so I'm not going to put in the effort. So, what's the point of putting in the effort? Even though I know that's my calling. When I hear that out loud, I think, that's crazy. Like, what are you doing? Like, why? And I'm here to say, you're busted. You're busted. I'm not letting that happen to you. So I want you to really think about what's important to you. What's your calling? And really dig deep. Why are you avoiding what you know you must do? Do you have a fear of success? And what will happen if you become successful? Yeah, it can be scary. I'm not taking away anyone's fear, but let's not give that fear a voice. Let's say, you know what? I know there's uncertainty here. Uncertainty exists all the time. And what you're going to do is you're going to take this uncertainty. You're going to do your research about what things you feel you're uncertain about. And as you start doing your research, you're going to see that some things are going to become a little bit more certain. And you're going to start decreasing and minimizing that uncertainty to a point where you feel comfortable out of the comfort zone, taking that step to stretch yourself, knowing that you're going to be able to handle what's ever on the other side. And you've done this all along. You do it so naturally that you don't even think about it. When you become more certain about things, you also become more confident. So when you quit the act, you will be able to see what you've been avoiding. What is the belief you're holding there? And once you bust through that, the magic's going to happen. Just watch. Thank you for joining me here on the Millionaire Woman Show. I'd love for you to go over to my website at www.debrakasowski.com. That's DebraKasowski.com. You're going to get a 3-part video course called Making Habits Stick. Put focus and consistency into your life, your business, your leadership, and make things happen. As Mahatma Gandhi said, be the change you wish to see in the world. And I, as always, go out and make today great. Hit the bell to subscribe to the channel and leave a comment below. We'd love to hear from you. Have a great day.